Hello, smart viewers. Welcome back to Venus TV Face to Face. And today we're going to touch a topic about a diaspora. What is a diaspora? It is a migration of people from one country to another country. And here today we have a really special guest, Fatul, who has been in a school abroad.
Yeah.
The longest time we're in Thailand.
Yes.
Is it? So please share with us how does it feel to be there because after that you go to Indonesian school. Is there any significant difference that you feel?
Yeah, I can say precisely it's very different because you can see you have different cultures, different environment, and there are also different people, especially the language barriers. So the only thing that we can do is like try to settle down, try to adapt to that environment, and also be used to it because we people need to learn about things. We need to adapt, especially to other stuff around us.
Okay, please tell us also about the milestone, the first time you go abroad until you get back here. The first time, how was it?
Okay, so I was actually born in Jakarta in 1998. So after the protest, I was born in August. And then 9 months later, in 1999, I moved to Australia, to Canberra especially, because my dad's work was appointed there as one of the staff workers in the Indonesian embassy in Canberra. So I stayed there for rest of my childhood until I was 5 years old, and then I moved back to Indonesia. I went to kindergarten here in the Indonesian school here, which is the Perguruan Cikini. So and then I also continued my elementary school studies there for 3 years, another 3 years, and then in 2006 I moved to Bratislava in Slovakia because of my dad's work there, and then stayed there for 1.5 years. And I go to international school because local school they speak the local language Slovak. Yeah, I can understand. So I go to American system school there. It's called the Quality School of International. It's supposed to be 3 years, but my dad was recalled back to Indonesia by the government, so I moved back to Indonesia. And when I was in the 5th grade, and I go to the same elementary school as I was before I left.
Cikini.
In Cikini, and then I continued my middle school there also in the SMP Perguruan Cikini until I was in the 2nd semester of grade 8 in the early 2012 when my dad was appointed by the government to be the ambassador of the Kingdom of Thailand. So me and my family and my dad moved there for the next 4 years, and I go to the international school, and then I moved to the Indonesian School of Bangkok. And then after I finished my high school in grade 12, I moved back to Indonesia to register to National University and also to University in Binus. So and I got accepted to Binus.
Here
so
you are today.
I'm a Binusian 2020.
Okay, so having been raised in Australia, do you feel any culture shock after when you get back to Indonesia?
Absolutely yes, because I was in Australian environment. Everything was very calm in Australia. Everything like went normal, and I can see like everything is peaceful. But when I came back to Jakarta, everything is very crowded, and people surrounding me speaking Bahasa Indonesia. Like I'm not used to have like outside environment speaking Indonesian. They speak English in Australia, but yeah, I've tried to get over it for around 3 months, and I got used to Bahasa Indonesia. Even rode bajai for the first time.
Okay.
And yeah, I can feel those. So I even go home alone sometimes.
Okay, so you experienced your elementary after that in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And you have to go back to Slovakia.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go back here again, and after that, you go back to Thailand. Having experienced those different education system, how was it? Is there any significant difference that you feel the most hardest to adapt with?
I think the hardest part when I moved to Slovakia, because I've stayed in Jakarta that time before I moved to Slovakia, 3.5 years, and adapt to the Indonesian environment. And of course, they have the different. I go to Slovakia and I go to the international school, and everything is different because there are no Indonesian, and everything were mostly like like locals and also like some other people from other countries there, and like I don't know what to do other than to speak English. I even need my teacher to help me, but and also the system there, the teacher was also very helpful to us. Even they taught like in Indonesia, like they even like have one teacher for one subject, but there they used to have like one teacher, but they taught like for 4 subjects, despite there are only like 2 subjects that are being taught by different teachers. So that's the kind of the slight difference, because the teachers are mostly focused on us and they don't need to focus on the other class, but they can just only focus on us as their homeroom teacher.
Okay, so it's really helpful because they will focus more on the student. And besides, you said before that the student is also less, it's not as much as here, right?
Yeah.
And it's really helping because you feel like a family there.
Yeah.
You can create a certain bond. So, about the number of Indonesian itself there, do you see any increasing number as year goes by, especially in Thailand?
Yeah.
Like you've been there for 4 years. You spent your time there 4 years. Is there any rise in the number of people going there?
The number, I think it's quite constantly the same. Despite just there's a little bit like rise or lower, because every year like there's students who left the school for Indonesia, but there are also others who came in to Thailand and then joined the Indonesian School of Bangkok. So it's quite a balance between the people who left and people who just joined the school. So, and of course, like for me, who haven't left the school like for 2 years, like I also experienced like my friends who left Bangkok for Indonesia, and also the ones who just came in there. So I also have not only like I left my new friends, but also like make new friends with people there. So despite I have to bid a farewell to my old friend, but I'm still able to communicate with them and also like communicate with my new friends. So I also make a big connection to people around me.
Okay, it's really interesting. So we're going to get back to you. So stay tuned with us on Venus TV Face to Face. Hello, smart viewers. Welcome back to Venus TV Face to Face, and we're still with Fatul. So Fatul, we have a little chit chat before about how does it feel in international school there?
Yeah,
how you also do the flag ceremony, and how you also do the special one day for Indonesian culture.
Yeah.
So, what if you never went abroad? How striking will be the difference? Will experience to you?
I never think about if it's my fate to go abroad or not, but if I was thinking if I'm not the lucky person to go abroad, I would probably like stay here and doesn't have time to discover the world that I have, so I won't have like any experience. I would be like feel nothing to me. So I think it's good benefit for me to able to, and also luckily for me to go explore the world, and rather than if you stay here and doesn't explore something like my fate there. So I just only can focus here in Indonesia to rather than discover the world.
Okay, so it's a mind-opening experience for you,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now about the education system itself.
Yeah.
You've seen the education system in Indonesia,
Yeah.
and you've seen the education system abroad. Do you think there's something from the education system abroad that we can bring to Indonesia to make it at least slightly better?
Yes, I think there's very slight different for me when I went to the international school there. They used the American curriculum, and during the high school there, when I was high school in grade 9, they able to give us freedom on choosing the subject that we want. For example, so when I was in grade 9, I only able to choose 8 subjects, which 6 subjects, which 4 of them are the subjects have to be math, English, social, and science. But the other 2, you can choose anything you want based on your interest or talent.
Okay, so do they give you certain tests before you take certain kind of subject, or you're free to choose?
You're free to choose but sometimes the teacher give a recommendation, especially when we're gonna choose like the subject for the 4 main subjects. Because, for example, like if we choose like for math, like we have to choose like either geometry or algebra, and the teacher have to give a recommendation. What do you think feel the perfect fit for you for your own skill, and then after that they're gonna give a recommendation, and you can choose for either algebra or geometry. That's for the 4 main subjects. But for the other 2, you don't need tests. Just it's your own risk if you choose the subject or not. It's just that if you follow this, you have to follow them very well. And if you got good grades, well, it's a good thing for you.
So far, as once a diaspora of Indonesia, so do you feel any obstacles there? For example, like in the school, you feel like, oh, you're different. You're from Indonesia and we're Thai. Is there anything like that, or it's just okay? Everything is going great.
Yeah, at first time, my first day of school, I feel like that. I never like they're very less Indonesian, or like the only Indonesian from what I have is only my sister and one kid, but he's only like kindergarten. So the only thing I can do is have fun, like try to go into the zone with Thai people and my friends from other nationalities, make friends with them. Like just because we have like different countries doesn't mean like we can integrate with each other, and we don't need those barriers just because of the countries we have. So because we're from the same school, we study the same subject, and we're going to be in the same class for 1 year, and because I'm so looking at this is the condition, this is the situation that we are going to face, so we have to go through it very well.
So it's basically like you're in your country, but just the different environment, and while everything is the same, like you also have your friend, you having the education as well.
Yeah.
Like, well, I hope other people or most people think like that, but as we can see, like a lot of people would segregate some group to another group.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
So,
because I experienced like one time when I go to class, there are some Koreans like who only play with Koreans, also Japanese play with Japanese.
Okay.
But there are like some who doesn't have like the same national friends. They integrate with each other. For me, I have like an Hungarian friend, also a Thai friend, but who want to play with us, and also Korean and other nationals who want to play together and even study together, and we don't have any problem as long as we able to communicate with each other in English, and I think we don't have any problem with that, with the language, and culture barriers. Even they respect our own, each of our culture. Even when I'm as a Muslim, I do my prayers in front of them. I think they're fine.
Okay, it's really good. I hope a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
So, for you, do you encourage people to go outside of their country in order to experience another world? How important it is for you, do you think?
I think it's very important to discover the world, because we're now in the ASEAN community. It was started in the early 2016, and people around ASEAN have to integrate with each other, have to able to communicate with each other, and it is actually a good chance for Indonesian to go outside, especially abroad. And especially if they would be lucky if you got scholarship to study abroad, and they would experience the new world that they never experienced before. Like for me, for example, when I was in Australia, even though I was in Australian grade when I was 5 years old, and then when I go back to Indonesia, I discover many new things in Indonesia, because I never discovered stuff in Indonesia before. And when I go back, I go to Slovakia and discover many things there, because it was far in Europe, and it's very different from in Australia. And then go back to Indonesia, so I have to adapt to every culture and environment that I come to for, I think, in average 5 months. And then go to Thailand. Despite Thailand have the similarities in Indonesia, but they still have the different culture. So it's very important to know the world, because it's going to be a treasure for us to brainstorm our mind and then gonna use it in the future for me especially.
Okay. Besides open-mindedness, do you have another mindset that you bring because you have experienced the education abroad? Beside the open-mindedness, is there anything that you learn which is really important for you up until now?
Yeah, I learned many things there because when I will go to international school, and I told you about we integrate with each other, there's gonna like be at one spot. There's gonna be like a multicultural, and then by that, we share our culture to our friends, and our friends also share their own culture with us, and as time we also learn a new culture there, and also it's gonna be like our new mindset there, and it's very important to know everything new because it's gonna be an experience, and those experiences will be useful for us in the future. Especially we don't know like our fate if we're going to work outside Indonesia or not, but it's gonna be useful anyhow.
Okay, thank you so much. Apparently we have reached another com break,
Yeah.
and we'll get back to you. So stay tuned with us on Venus TV Face to Face. Hello, smart viewers. Welcome back to Venus TV Face to Face. And we're still with Fatul.
Yeah.
So, Fatul, for you, having lived abroad and going back to Indonesia, having going back again abroad, what is home for you?
For me, home is my identity as an Indonesian. So home is Indonesia because despite I moved from another country to another country to another country, but however, the last part of my journey, I'll go back to Indonesia because that is my home and my family still is here, and because I'm proud as an Indonesian despite as I live in other countries, and when I stay there, I also have the nationalism feeling there. So it's gonna make me remember about my own identity, Indonesia, and that's how I describe home, Indonesia.
Okay. And also, I'm curious about the social media that you manage. We talk about the social media. So apparently, you manage the social media to keep you in contact, to maintain relationship, especially with your friend abroad. Tell us a bit about the social media.
Yeah, so this social media we have like for me, like our friends, we have a group line, so we talk to each other even if my friends were in Indonesia but used to be an ex-students of the Indonesian School of Bangkok, and even we make a group named Cybers, which is the nickname of the Indonesian students there. So and then we communicate with each other, and also other than line, we also have an Instagram account. It's called C Bangkok, which is
C Bangkok, SEA?
SEB Bangkok, sorry, SEB Bangkok, C Bangkok.
SIB Bangkok.
Yeah.
SI Bangkok.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the social media?
So the social media, the SI Bangkok, shows the pictures of the event that was held by the Indonesian School of Bangkok and also the students. And interestingly, it was run by the student itself.
Including you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are like 2-3 students who run the account, but since I already left for Indonesia, there are like I give the account to my friends to control it because I might be busy for college stuff and other works too. So, but it's interesting because it's gonna show the event, the activities there. So if you people like curious about how's the Indonesian school there, is it different or same as Indonesia? You can just see the pictures. You can see how they managed to adapt the local culture and environment, but still with an Indonesian mindset there. And so that's why it's quite interesting for you guys to look at the account and follow us on SC Bangkok.
SI Bangkok.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really interesting. Also, do you know another upcoming event? Probably the nearest one for Indonesian Bangkok student.
For the Bangkok students,
The nearest event.
there's gonna be like a Jamboree National. Yeah, it's a national Jamboree held by the Thai scouting community there. So the Indonesian school students, there are selected 16 students there. And on the 12th or 13th, 14th of December, They will go to Rayong, a city in province in Thailand. They're gonna join with the scouting team from Thailand, from people from Thai schools. They're gonna gather there and they're gonna do like the scouting activities together. And it's also one of the thing called the diverse because they're Indonesian Thai. They're gonna even show the culture, and it's a good opportunity for them to know each other culture in the Jamboree because they're gonna have like try to be creative and also share their how to say the different sets of the scouts there. And it's also a good thing for us to have like Thai school and Indonesian school like grouping together and be friends together, of course, and being a multicultural people there.
Okay, so basically, if you want to see the event, you just go to the Instagram at SI Bangkok.
Yeah.
And you can find all of the information there, including the National Jamboree.
Yeah, and also Jamboree too. And also, if you want to see the video, you can check on YouTube. It was run by my teacher.
What is the channel name?
Muhammad Soleh.
Muhammad Soleh.
And you're gonna see the activities that was held in SIB, and it's gonna be you can see the experience that we have there in Bangkok, and you can see they're able to have the Indonesian environment and the people, but inside the Thai environment. So if you want to see, just go to Mama Soleh channel on YouTube.
Okay, thank you so much, and we have reached the end of our segment today.
Yes.
So we have learned a lot about the diaspora, about how is the life of Indonesian student there, how it can really change your mind, how it can shape a new mindset for you having lived abroad there. But again, home is still Indonesia.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the crew, and thank you so much for the audience, and especially to Fatul for coming here today.
Thank you.
And we'll go back to you on the same time and place, Friday 1:30 p.m. on Venus TV Face to Face.